They talk tough, they preach dominance, they call themselves alphas, but when they get called out by a calm, sarcastic voice of reason, everything falls apart. One by one, these wannabe tough guys get exposed, debunked, and roasted. There's a certain kind of guy on the internet who calls himself an alpha male. He flexes on podcasts, brags about how many women he supposedly sleeps with, talks over everyone else in the room, and sells life advice like it's a limited time discount. These are the guys who want to be seen as leaders. Tough, successful, confident. But then someone like Penguinz0, also known as Charlie, comes in and absolutely wrecks them. And every time, it's not even close. Let's be honest. Most of these so-called alpha males crumble the second anyone questions them.
There's no name has commanded less respect than Tai Lopez. He is just a clown people shoot spitballs at. He is just like the communal piñata that people used to love to take shots at, like a little punching bag. And it was always good fun because he's a piece of shit. He is literally a scammer.
They talk big until they get rated a 2 out of 10 by a woman, and suddenly they're throwing tantrums and kicking people off their podcast sets. You'd think someone who calls themselves high value would know how to handle a little rejection, but nope. One rating sends them spiraling into a meltdown for the entire internet to see.
What about you over there? Go.
2.
Okay.
I would give him a 9.
Okay. What is she over there?
I would give him a 10 because he invited me.
All right. So again, you sound like a stupid ass bitch. I'm trying
Thank
to figure
you.
out why you rated me a 2 because we're not going off our interactions. We're going off beauty.
I don't like light-skinned niggas.
I don't give a fuck. He's light skinned just like me, and you just gave him a 9. You gave me a 2. You only gave me a 2 because of the whole interaction that we've been having, right? So do me a favor, get the fuck up and get the fuck out.
Charlie doesn't just make fun of them, he breaks down exactly why their behavior is so embarrassing. When one dating coach said you shouldn't accept rejection from women, Charlie pointed out how creepy and unsafe that sounds. Instead of accepting no for an answer, this guy basically said you should keep pushing until the woman gives in. That's not confidence, it's just gross. And what made it worse was how serious the guy was. He thought he cracked some magical dating code when really, he just made people uncomfortable. And of course, these alphas don't stop at bad dating advice.
How is me buying your course going to help me fuck 3 times in one day? Is the course just that NBA player's phone number for his mansion of sex? Like, there's just nothing you can really teach from this story you've told here. Nothing translates. There's no lesson. You picked 3 girls that a guy then instructed to have sex with you. And it never happened in the first place, and I hate that I keep suspending disbelief for even a fraction of a second to entertain the idea that this happened in reality, when we all know it didn't.
They like to act rich too. One of them claimed he made millions and owned fancy cars and a mansion, but when Charlie looked closer, the guy's house looked more like a studio apartment.
I've said for months now, many moons, that Andrew Tate is one of the most entertaining clowns the internet has to offer. But today, the circus finally closed. Andrew Tate and that zit that has latched himself on to Andrew Tate like a leech, Tristan, his brother, have both been arrested on human trafficking charges. The clip of Tate being escorted to the police vehicle instantly went viral, and I really love how the officers are dressed in this video because it looks like they're ready to fight the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but then it's just this goofy goober Andrew Tate.
That's the thing with these guys. They're all about appearances, but they have nothing solid to back it up. Some of them even challenge Charlie to boxing matches. That's their go-to move when their ego gets hurt. They think throwing hands will fix their image, but as Charlie often points out,
the funny part is that I don't need to be in shape, and you know what? I'm gonna make this statement in the video. We should do a boxing match with him because he does not. I'll box this guy. I'll do something with him because I guarantee you he can't outrun me in a mile. Okay, I can still, to this very day, with the amount of times that I don't work out, I can still run a 6-minute mile.
Beating someone in a boxing ring doesn't make the lies go away. It doesn't erase the fact that they've built their entire personality around fake success. And when they post responses to Charlie's videos, it only makes things worse. They talk in circles, brag about imaginary achievements, and try to act calm while clearly losing it. This is the pattern. Every wannabe alpha male gets caught in their own web. They brag, they lie, they get exposed, and then they overreact. Charlie doesn't need to raise his voice or act tough. He just lets their own words destroy them. And once he starts pointing out the cracks in their story, the rest of the internet joins in. Comments pile up, viewers start laughing, and that carefully built image of dominance falls apart in real time. The next example shows just how quickly this collapse can happen. There's one guy who tried really hard to look cool by crashing his expensive car on live stream. That's right. He was live on camera, driving a McLaren in the rain while staring at his phone. All he cared about was making sure the crash went viral. He even took his shirt off right there on the highway, acting like it was a fashion show. That's the level of self-importance we're dealing with here.
I just just cannot fight the urge to make fun of this goober again. Insulting Jack Doherty is a God-given right, and I would be a fool to deny that. I can't resist. It's like trying to hold in a sneeze. I just have to let it out. I have to clown on Jack Doherty. The most punchable face on the planet here belongs to our protagonist, Jack. He is right now driving his McLaren.
We're locked in here!
This is clearly a case of Jack Doherty not paying any attention, leading to his car hydroplaning. Now, I know hydroplaning can happen to even the best drivers, which Jack Doherty is not. He is looking at his phone numerous times. We have the cameraman who's filming this like Cloverfield, and actually did a really good job of like showing us the monster. Every time we see him, it's like he's been hypnotized by his phone. He's like in a trance. He's a zombie behind the wheel. He was never paying attention to the road, even though it's raining out. And then he had the chutzpah to step on the gas. You can like hear him accelerate. And he's barely even lucid right now because he's too distracted by his phone, and that leads to it hydroplaning.
Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Oh, Michael.
But nothing screams fake alpha like pranksters who think being annoying equals being dominant. Take one guy who wanders into stores and starts yelling at employees, daring them to fight him, filming the whole thing as if it's a comedy show. He calls it a prank, but all he's doing is harassing people trying to work. In one case, a store manager calmly told him to leave, and when the guy didn't, the manager stood his ground. Turns out that the manager was a trained fighter. If things had gotten physical, it wouldn't have gone well for the prankster. The worst part, these guys don't even realize how bad they look. They think getting arrested makes them more famous. They think yelling in public makes them look powerful. In reality, it just shows how desperate they are to be noticed.
More pathetic than an internet prankster is nothing. These degenerate worms whose entire existence revolves around making strangers' lives worse in public so that they can film it and post it online for content are actually the most embarrassing thing humanity has ever produced. And I've mentioned this before, but I actually think making fun of pranksters is an important public service to try and deter other youngsters from growing up to be this kind of failure of a person. And the only thing he has to show for it is a few arrests and a community of children that just shoot spitballs and make fun of him like a bad birthday party clown. So I'm not going to tell you his name. His name's not important. Don't go out of your way to find and harass him. Don't give him any kind of engagement off of it. I just think he is another great example of the brain rot that's really infested the youth these days.
Charlie exposes these fake alphas not just to make fun of them, but to show others how fake it all is. You don't need to buy a course or rent a mansion to be someone of value. You don't need to pretend to be a billionaire or pick fights to be respected. That's the real message behind every time Charlie takes down one of these clowns. Whether it's a guy faking luxury, crying on a dirt road for attention, or crashing a car while live streaming, the result is always the same. They get exposed, humiliated, and left with nothing but their own ego to cling to. Because in the end, trying to be an alpha by pretending only shows how lost you really are.